Hmm. The Lion, the Witchy, and the Wardrobe. Chapter 1. Lucy looks into a wardrobe for children whose names were Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy. This story is about something that happened to them went away from London during the war because of the air raids. They were sent to the house of an old professor who lived he- heart of the country, 10 miles from the nearest railway station and 2 miles from the post office. He had he had no wife and he lived in a very large house with a housekeeper called Mrs. McServant. Their names were Ivy, Margaret, Margaret, Betty, but they do not come in story much. He himself was a very old man with a jersey with hair which grew over most of his face as well as on his head, and they they racked him almost at once. But on the when he came out to meet them at the front door, he was so odd looking that Lucy, who was the youngest, was a little afraid of him, and Edmund, who was the next youngest, wanted to laugh and had to keep on pretending he was below his nose to hide it. As soon as they had said good night to the professor and gone upstairs on the first night, the boys came into the girls' room and they all talked it over. We've Horam on our feet and no mistake, said Professor. This is going to be perfectly splendid. The old chap will let us do anything we like. I think he's an old dear, said Susan. Oh, come off it, said Edmund, who was tired and pretending not to be tired, which always made him bad tempered. Don't go on talking like that. Like what? Said Susan. And anyway, it's time you were in bed, trying to talk like mother, said Edmund. And who are you to say when I'm to go to bed? Go to bed yourself. Hadn't we all better go to bed? Said Lucy. There's sure to be a row if we're here to talk. No, there won't, said Peter. I tell you, this is a sort of house where no one's going to mind what we do. Anyway, they won't hear us. It's about 10 minutes walk from here down to that dining room, and any amount of stair and the passage in between. What's the noise? Said Lucy suddenly. It was a larger house than she had ever been up been in before, and the thought of all those long passages and the row of doors leading into empty room was beginning to make her feel a little creepy. It's only a bird, silly, said Edmund. It's an owl, said Peter. Is this going to be a wonderful place for bird? I shall go to bed now. I said, let's go and explore tomorrow. You might find anything in a place like this. Did you see those mountains as we came along? And the ooze. There might be eagle. There might be stags. And there will be hawk. Brigger, badger, said Lucy. Foxes, said Edmund. Rabbits, said his son. But when next morning came, there was a steady rain pouring, so thick that when you looked out of the window, you could see neither the mountains, nor the woods, nor even the stream in the gut. Of course, it would be raining, said Edmund. They had just finished their breakfast with the professor and were upstairs in the room he had set apart for them, a long, low room with two windows looking out in one direction and two in another. "Do stop grumbling, Ed," said Susan. 10 to 1. It will clear up in an hour or so, and in the meantime, we are pretty well off. There's a wire nest and lots of books. Not for me, said Peter. I'm going to explore in the house. Everyone agreed to this, and that was how the adventure began. It was a sort of house that you never seemed to come to the end of, and it was full of unexpected place. The first few doors they tried led only into spare bedrooms, as everyone had expected that they would. But soon they came to a very long room full of pictures, and there they found a suit of armor, and after that, as there was a room all hung with green, with a harp in one corner, and then came their steps down the 5 steps up, and then a kind of little upstairs hall, and the door that led out onto a balcony, and then a whole series of rooms then led into each other and were lined with books, most of them very old books, and some bigger than a Bible in a church. And shortly after that, they looked into a room that was quite empty except for one big wardrobe. The short step has a looking glass in the door. There was nothing else in the room, and all expect that the blue bottle, no, no, no. There was nothing else in the room at all, except a dead blue bottle and on the windowsill. Nothing there, said Peter, and they all trooped out again, all except Lucy. He stayed behind because he thought it would be worse while trying the door of the wardrobe, even though she felt almost sure that it would be rocket. To her surprise, it opened quite easily, and two mouse balls dropped up. Looking into the inside, she saw several coats hanging up, mostly long coat. There was nothing Lucy looked like it so much as the smell and feel of fur. She immediately stepped into the wardrobe and got in among the coats and rubbed her face against them, leaving the door open, of course, because she knew that it is very foolish to shut oneself into any wardrobe. So she went to powder in and found that there was a second row of coat hanging up behind the first one. It was almost quite dark in there, and she kept her arms stretched out in front of her so as not to dump her face into the back of the wardrobe. She took a step further in, then two or three steps, always ex- expecting to peer would work against the tip of her finger, but she could not hear it. This must be a simply enormous wardrobe. So Lucy going still further in and pushing the soft folds of the coat aside to make room for her. Then she noticed that there was something crunching under her feet. I wonder if that. I wonder is that more mouse she jumping down to peel it with her hand, but instead of peeling the hard, smooth wood of the floor of the wardrobe, she felt something soft and powdery and extremely cold. This is very queer, she said, and went on a step or two further. Next moment, she found that what was rubbing against her face and hands was no longer soft fur, but, but something hard and rough and even prickly. Why, it is just like a branch of trees, exclaimed Lucy. And then she saw that there was a right ahead of her, not a few inches away, where the back of the wardrobe ought to have been, but a long way off. Something cold and soft was pouring on her. A moment later, she found that she was standing in the middle of a wood at night time, with snow under her feet and flakes falling through the air. Lucy felt a little frightened, frightened, but she felt very inquisitive, inquisitive and ex- excited, excited as well. She looked back over her shoulder, and there, between the dark tree trunk, she could still see the open doorway of the wardrobe and the no. Okay, of the wardrobe, and even catchy glimpse of the empty room from which she had set. She was done, for it seemed to be still there right there. Oh, I can always get back if the snow and through the strange person stepped out from among the trees into the right of the lamppost. He was only a little taller than himself. His head an umbrella, white with snow. From the west upward, he was like a man, but his legs were sharpened like a goat. The glossy black, and instead of pit, he had the goat's hoop, hoops. He also had a tail, but Lucy did not notice curl up over the arm that had the umbrellas so as to keep it from in the snow. He had a red woodland muffler round his neck, and his skin was rather reddish too. He had a strange but pleasant little face, with the short pointed beard and the curly hair, and all the hair there stuck to him, one on each side of his head, one of his hands, as I have said, the umbrella in the other arm, he carried several brown papers for sale. But with the parcel and the snow, it looked just as if he had been doing his Christmas shopping. He was a pound, and when he saw Lucy, he gave such a start of surprise that he dropped all his puzzles. Goodness gracious me! Exclaimed Pond. Chapter 2. What else she found there? Good evening, said Lucy, but the pan was so busy picking up its puzzle that at first it did not reply. When she it made her a little bow. Good evening, said Pond. Excuse me, I don't want to be inquisitive, but should I be right in thinking then you are a daughter of Eve? My name's Lucy, said she, not quite understanding him. But you are, oh, forgive me, you are what they call a girl, said the Palm. Of course, I'm a girl, said Lucy. What a impact human? Of course, I'm human, said Lucy, still a little puzzled. To be sure, said Pond. How stupid me! How stupid of me! But I've never seen a son of Adam or a daughter of Eve before. I am delighted. That is so to said. Mm. And then it stopped as if it had been going to say something it had not intended, but had remembered it in time. Delighted. And once on allowed me to introduce myself. My name is Thomas. I'm very pleased to meet you, Mr. Thomas, said Lucy. And may I ask Lucy, daughter of Eve, said Mr. Thomas, how you have come into Narnia? Narnia? What's that? Where we are now, all the rise between the ramparts and the great castle of Cair Parable on the eastern sea. And you have come from the wild woods of the west. I I got in through the wardrobe in the spare room, said Lucy. Oh, said Mr. Thomas in a rather melancholy voice. If only I had worked harder at geography when I was a little pawn, I should that know all about those strange country. It is true right now, but they aren't countries at all, said Lucy, almost laughing. It's only just back there. The rest, I'm not sure. It is summer there. Meanwhile, said Mr. Toners, it is winter in Narnia and has been for ever so long, and we shall both catch a cold if we stand here talking in the snow, daughter of Eve, from the far end of Spare where eternal summer risen around the bright city of Wardrobe. How would it be if you came and had tea with me? Thank you very much, Mr. Thomas, said Lucy. But I was wondering whether I ought to be getting back. It's only just around the corner, said Fawn. And there will be a roaring fire and toast and sardines. I don't know. Sardines and cake. Well, that's very kind of you, said Lucy. But I shan't be able to stay long. If you will take my arm, daughter of Eve, said Mr. Thomas, I shall be able to hold the umbrella of both of you. That's the way now. Off we go! And so Lucy found himself walking through the wood in arm with his strange creature, and if they had known one another all their breath, they had not gone far before they came to a place where the ground became rough and there were rocks all about the hills up and the little hills down. At the bottom of a small valley, Mr. Turner's turned suddenly aside if he were going to walk straight into unusually large rock. At the last moment, Lucy found he was leading her into the entrance of a cave. As soon as they were inside, she found herself blinking in the light of fire. Then Mr. Tumnus stupid and stooped, stooped and took a flaming piece of wood out of the fire with a neat little pair of tongue and little lamp. Now we shan't be long, he said, and immediately put the kettle on. Lucy thought she had never been in a nice place. It was bright of reddish stone with a cup head on the floor and two little chairs, one for me and one for a friend, said Mr. Thomas, and a dresser and mantelpiece of the fire, and above that a picture of an old pot with a grey beard. In one corner there was a which Lucy thought must lead to Mr. Thomas's bedroom, and on one wall was a shelf full of books. Lucy looked at this was sitting out of teething. They had the titles like the life and letter of Silenus or Nymphs, and there were your men, monk, and gamekeepers. A study in popular legend or as man of mice. Now, daughter of Eve, said Pan, and really it was a wonderful tea. There was a nice brown egg, rightly boiled, for each of them, then on toast, and then buttered toast, and then toast with honey, and then a sugar topped cake. And when Lucy was tired, the pan began to talk. He had the wonderful tales to tell of life in the forest. He told about the midnight dance and how the nymphs who live in the woods and the dryads who lived in the tree come out to dance with Pan about long hunting parties after the milk. White stag who could give you wishes if you caught him about pasting and the treasure seeking with the white rats in deep mines and caverns beneath the forest floor. And then about summer, when the goods were and old Sulenus on his pet donkey would come to visit them, and sometimes Bacchus himself. And then the stream would run with wine instead of water, and hoped to give itself up to jollification for week on end. Not that it isn't always winter now, he added gloomily, then himself up. He took out from its case on the dresser a strange little fruit that looked as if it were made of straw and began to play. And the tune he played made Lucy want to cry and laugh and dance and go to sleep all at the same time. An hour later, when she shook herself and said, "Oh, Mr. Tumners, I'm so sorry to stop you, and I do love that tune. But really, I must go home. I only meant to stay for a few minutes. It's no good now, you know," said Pond lying down. Its float and shaking its head at her very sorrowfully.